It's good. It's great to be back.
Yep.
Hey everyone, how are we doing out there? Hello, all you mech fans, all you lovers of those big bots and minicons. It's time for a roundtable, and I'm not alone today. Of course, some of the favorite recurring guests today include Chris. How you doing?
I'm not too bad. I'm just here and there and doing all sorts of things. Kind of getting back
flying higher.
Kind of getting back into a game that I've been away from for over a year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Destiny.
Oh, right. You can talk a little bit about Destiny.
Yes. Let's just say I've spent many years watching it, playing it, and so kind of getting back into the habit of it.
But of course, that's a game I'm not really too familiar with, so I'm really out of the loop on the whole Destiny thing. So I'll have to defer to you for anything about Destiny.
I mean, it is a free to play, I believe, on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. It's also cross-platform play as well. The only thing that you do have to pay for is if you want to get the juicy stuff, you have to pay for the seasons, as well as the expansions.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But that's kind of the norm for gaming these days.
Yeah.
I've been mostly playing Final Fantasy XIV the last few weeks, really, which as quickly took over the place of World of Warcraft. So that one's pretty interesting to watch. How that's all kind of coming along and been rocking out.
Nice.
And I think Forjet down there in the chat has to agree with you, Chris.
Yeah,
cool dude there, that Forjet.
Yeah, it's trying to think. It's been about 6 or so years since your first Destiny game came out. Been playing it since then. I just took this past year plus to get away from it because too much time, too much time on it.
Oh, I feel you there.
But
of course, you and I are not alone. With us is, of course, the one, the only, the Agent Decibel.
The dipshit.
This is Agent Decibel on assignment. The dipshit, I think when he said recurring and favorite, he meant you're the recurring one and I'm the favorite. I'm pretty sure. Everyone loves the villain.
People only like the villain because they make the hero better.
Oh, so basically the hero would be useless without us. That's a pretty good distinction. I'm glad you agree with that.
And the villain wouldn't exist without the hero to compete with.
Well, the villain exists because the hero's basically pointless, and someone's got to set things right. That's our job.
Oh, guys, breaking news. Fenrir showed up.
Fenrir!
Hail Zeon!
Hail Zeon!
I like
good man.
How's it going, gang?
Not too bad.
Doing pretty good.
I guess I'm only 4 minutes late this time. Good.
Not bad.
Well, we were playing a little music while you before the stream started. We were talking about some Sabaton and stuff we can't show on stream here.
Okay.
God forbid.
Don't worry, I'll send you the link later. Good video.
God forbid.
Alrighty then.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about this episode and technically the concepts of military hazing.
Oh yes, I think it's time to talk a little bit about some Gundam. So, to transition over, today we are covering the episode 14 of Mobile Suit Gundam. Time Be Still. So what we do every week on this show to stay consistent with this is we will go through break down the episode and cover it and talk about the episode as it comes along. and stopping for any comments and comments and discussions along the way. So to begin with the episode, the episode opens on a Zeon base with a magic show being performed for the troops, while the lone Zaku is being worked on by its pilot, Gial. Some fellow soldiers come to discuss plans with him, and reports of the white base being nearby, but the commanding officer does not want to engage. The soldiers begin discussing attacking it without getting the commanding officer involved, in the hopes of succeeding the mission can earn them a ticket back home and out of the war. Meanwhile, the white base has been set down and been undergoing repairs thanks to Matilda and her crew. Wright asks why she would assist them when they're not regulation forces, and she says the Federation intends to support them and provide new officers, but the European front is far too important at present. And also mentions that Zeon is in a similar situation, so the rookie group of the white base will be acting as data collection, and so the inexperienced troops can develop some new surprise tactics. I mean, so off the bat, we get to see that, you know, both sides are undergoing repairs, and you're seeing the soldiers in the field just trying to survive and have one of the most important things around, which is that entertainment.
Well, they could easily capture Matilda and parade her around. It'd been a lot better than a magic show. I mean, you got to remember what you're fighting for. I mean, come on, she's a redhead.
That is true. That inspires even way more of the soldiers than magic show.
Are you gonna start singing? Are you gonna start singing "What Are We Fighting For" from Mulan?
Oh no.
Yeah. No, I'm going to say no on that one, but Matilda, she's not bad, but definitely better than a magic show.
I mean, in a bikini, you got to. Bikini, yeah.
Don't forget. In the Captain America movie, you see the soldiers having a hissy fit when they didn't have the girls back on stage. They started throwing whatever they could at Captain America.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no one wants to look at him. Bring the girls.
Yeah, who wants to see a dude?
Mm-hmm. Well, don't worry, guys. You get the magic show. Come on, isn't this worth fighting for?
They should have just shot him.
We're going to make the magician disappear.
They have guns.
Yeah, I don't think that one would be going over too well.
I think it would have gone over well.
Well,
yeah.
No one likes, say, rapist. So.
Oh, hey.
Oh, wait, that is not the idea.
Hey, Men's Room, welcome. Glad to have you here. We're talking about an episode of Gundam, and I hope you stay around. So ask any questions. Feel free to hang out and rock on.
That's what we always do.
Yeah. So what did you guys think about so far? We're finally getting some information as to, you know, what's going on with the white base and the Federation. Why is the Federation seemingly forgetting all about the white base?
I mean, didn't she say right there is they haven't been forgotten? They're actually becoming quite important to Revel.
Yeah, that is correct.
I like the fact that she reminded him about the coercion that basically, if you don't do what we say, we're going to court-martial you, even though you're not military personnel. You're forced into this. I'm kind of seeing a dual thing where I can understand keeping the white base out of the European theater, seeing that is so heavy, but you're still leaving civilians in charge of the white base. You can change out the entire command structure, leave Amuro in charge of the Gundam, but they're still just leaving these people out hanging out to dry and telling them smile or else.
Well, the thing is that the people on the white base have been doing a fantastic job of surviving and have been a thorn in the Zeon's side for so long. It's like, why change a good thing?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Well, yeah, it is a good point.
Because
why threaten them?
remember, Lieutenant Reed, was it? No, not Lieutenant Reed. Yeah, Lieutenant Reed, the guy who was from the Salamis crew. He was a bumbling idiot, and he was a more senior officer than Bright.
But
also, they made it clear here that there really is no one else that they can afford to put onto the white base.
No.
Yeah, they also, I mean, he's by a thread, but they also at least acknowledge Bright by making him an ensign. That's something.
Well, he already was an ensign. This was Matilda here reminding him of what his rank was at the start of the show, before he had to step up and take over the control of the white base. And
yeah, but at least he's significantly been put into a position of power.
Yep.
Well, his command of the white base has been acknowledged.
Yeah.
Yep. And Brightest Days, says, think Starship Troopers. I'll take the job until I get killed or you find someone better.
Exactly.
Hey, it's mine until someone better comes along. Or I'm dead.
That sounds like a very good line. Never seen that.
That's a whole stream in and of itself. For Starship Troopers, which is an interesting case of the book being quite a bit different from the novel, but they're both really good. But I think we should get back to this real quick. Unless anyone else has anything else they want to say?
I don't trust Matilda. I mean, not because she's a fetty scumbag. It's just that I don't trust. There's something about this woman that irks me. It's like she comes on, she kind of throws her weight around, gets Amuro all googly eyed and everything. There's something about her that I don't like her. I don't trust her.
That's called control.
She's going to be bad news for White Base.
Yeah.
Surprise! Zeon doesn't like a federal officer.
I just say shoot her. Why take the chance?
I say nuke all the Zeons.
Because she's got the right instruments that are keeping her alive.
Touche.
So, Bright objects to being called a guinea pig. Him and the ship being called a guinea pig, and the reminder of being an ensign, which was his rank from the start of the series. General Revel had intervened to assist the White Base and save him from being court-martialed over actions of the series. Amuro interrupts them to see Matilda, and Bright sends him off to go and get some rest while he can. On his way back to his cabin, Amuro is met by Frau, who seems obviously bothered by his noticing of Matilda. And the next day when she leaves, and Bright insists Amuro readies himself in case of a need to deploy. As they
okay, I gotta say one thing.
Yes.
What is it with Amuro and redheads? I mean, Matilda, Frau. I mean, does he have the orange fever or something? I mean, I can't blame him. I mean,
well, there's nothing going on between Frau and Amuro because Frau is more of a sister / mother to Amuro than anything more than that.
It's like, speaking of Frau and that, I remember that scene is like she's sitting there, she's wearing that uniform jacket, right, to try to get his attention. He's too young to be able to read women, right? Exactly. Thank you. It's
he's the oblivious anime character.
He's 16.
It's like she's like there, and he asks what's wrong. She says nothing and walks away. He's not a CIA code breaker. He doesn't understand this double talk that women do.
And not even a CIA code breaker can understand what a woman is thinking.
It is like it's
women
obvious.
Are the greatest mystery in the universe.
She's trying to wear this jacket to get his attention because he's all googly eyed over Miss I don't trust her, and it's what are you doing? It's like, and the thing is, it's funny. I was telling a friend of mine earlier about this. It's like she doesn't tell him what's wrong, and he gets mad because he doesn't know what she's trying to say. That'd be like me going up to you and screaming in Klingon and then angry because you don't know what I'm saying when you've never studied it.
I can just
whose
say,
fault is that
I've
really?
been in this situation
Yours for
so
not
many times.
understanding Klingon.
Yeah, you're the problem, not her. It's like, my God.
I mean,
I've been in this situation too.
I never took her wearing the jacket as her trying to get Amro's attention. I took it as it's late at night. It's probably chilly out. She just doesn't want to get cold. That's how I took it.
I think she did it to get his attention.
I don't think so. Doesn't look like it to me.
Because women are like onions when they speak. They have like even their actions like 3, 4, 5 different layers.
Yes, but she's
meaning.
not speaking. She's just sitting there leaning against the door as Amro's walking by.
Oh, she's not speaking, but she's screaming very loud. It's like I can see what she's doing, but poor Amro's a kid. He doesn't get it. You know, and then she gets mad and storms off.
At his age, I at least knew how to read some points of women.
Like I said, it doesn't seem like all she's doing is just trying to keep warm. That's all.
Well, she is also waiting up for him, and did notice that he's not in his room.
Yeah, that is true. That is the one thing that's true.
Bigger picture. The VDF can teach you these things.
Yeah, they can teach you how to rape, pillage, and destroy.
No, not the rape. Yeah. It's not the rape. That's against natural order. Pillage and destroy? Yeah, we have fun doing that.
I wouldn't. Well, I mean, there's plenty of villains that do the first
thing.
That
is the way of the villain. Pillage and destruction. I mean, rape is just.
All right, guys. I have to not use certain words.
Okay. Gaping.
We're on YouTube.
Gaping. Let's call it gaping.
Struggle snuggle. Let's use that.
The unwanted reaps around.
All right,
I'm sorry, Ironcaster. I'm sorry.
Sorry, we kind of went on a tangent.
Sorry, but I gotta say,
sorry,
Dr. Light
teacher.
Sorry about that, Mr. Ironcaster.
But it's for Mama Susan's benefit. She's not gonna like certain words.
But I gotta say, Dr. Light did that, and he lost all of his magic. He became a douche.
Yeah, you lost me a she.
So, Amro's infatuated with Matilda and quickly volunteers to get ready in the Gundam in case of a need to deploy. And of course, Frau is feeling ignored.
And this is where she's learned. This is where she's realizing that she is not going to be with Amro.
Amro has an interest in women, and Frau doesn't think she is one. But Matilda's ship leaves, which I believe this was a Medea?
Yeah, Medea supply ship.
Thank you. Leaves and on its trip takes notice of the Zeon ship, the Zeon scout ship, who launches she prepares to attack should they need to, and the Zeon ship launches a flare to alert the nearby base of the location of the Federation forces. The Zeon base goes into full alert, and the Zeon soldiers deploy on their hover bikes with part of the tactic they were discussing. On their bikes, they call the Wappas, which I got to appreciate the fact that we're bringing like man drones into this.
I'm just amazed at how all the Zeon aircraft defy all laws of aerodynamics, but yet they still fly. It's like a bee. Just how the hell?
Exactly.
I mean, it is an anime, so...
This is the beauty about cartoons. You can do anything in it. Fuck the rules of reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can make a giant man-shaped robot, and it will totally work.
I mean,
exactly.
all that those things are
the laws of speed, everything else.
All that those things are is just two turbines strapped onto a seat and a gun.
It's really a scaled-down helicopter.
Fun fact:
yeah,
a hovercraft like this was actually invented. It actually did work for a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's not what they were drawing from with this.
By the
Who knows?
Japanese specifically.
Which, by the way, they have a whole fleet. They have like a whole fleet of these little hover bikes.
I mean, the
Which
amazing.
I think it's got to be one of my favorite non-mobile suit vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite non-mobile suit vehicle is the the Type 16 tank.
Was that the one with the
616
head that
tank.
separates?
No, that's the it's basically the
Oh, it has the twin guns.
yes, the one with the Federation
Okay.
tank with the twin guns. It looks
Okay,
like a tank.
I know what you're talking about now.
But no, I mean, the very cool thing about Gundam is that Tomino drew upon a lot of real science and real conceivable notions when he made Gundam.
Right to stay backed you up on that. Matilda's ship begins fighting with the Zaku and is hit, and manages to take out the scout ship. Amuro is deployed and begins to assist Matilda, which allows her time to be able to escape, and which leaves Amuro with now the new challenge of having to fight in a forest. Yep. And speaking of things, hopping out of the woods, Nick Weiser shows up. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, Nick Weiser.
Hey, dude, how's it going?
I am.
He's our Galactus, the Galactic Devourer. Nothing is safe around him.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get Nick Weiser's head on Galactus' body.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
Do
thing.
that.
That'd be perfect.
You do that. You do that. And who should be the heralds?
And you put the sound of him going, ooh.
Bring me.
Got you covered, buddy.
Bring me your Count Chocula. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Amuro moves to begin attacking the soldiers, but hesitates as he's now has to come face to face with shooting unarmed men in a fight, which then brings us to my favorite part. The break.
It never gets old.
No.
Hey, we're missing one. We're missing one. I mean, we need to bring up the spirits of the troops there for a second. You can't forget that one.
You're right.
The greatest
Guys,
speech
I'll bring
ever.
in the greatest motivational speaker.
Wow.
So, the Wappas begin to use the trees for cover and begin to lead Amuro into their trap, with the other men lying in wait and begin to quickly surround the Gundam to enact their plan to place how do I put this for YouTube words?
Magnetic boom devices?
We'll call them the devices, but I think everyone understands what we're talking about.
Boom devices. I like that.
Yep. It's we're gonna call them Gambit playing cards.
Okay.
Everyone remembers Gambit from the X-Men? And what he can do with a trading card?
Our favorite French guy that's not French. Our favorite Cajun.
Yes. Or
don't let the Cajuns hear you say that. They're gonna
Gambit's graphics card, for reasons we'll soon discover. Oh, yes, there we go. Gambit's graphics card.
There we go.
So the Xeon forces begin to plant the Gambit cards all over the suit, and manage to get one, as we see, the back, the face, and even one right outside of his cockpit.
Right on the, that area.
He escapes. With the Gambit cards in place, they begin to fly around and attempt to hit them to detonate the Gambit cards, which manage to destroy his shield and informs Amuro that something's up.
Those are very powerful Gambit cards compared to everything else that Amuro's been hit with.
Yeah, it's especially considering that so those little devices have had quite an effect, and it's a solid strategy. They're pulling a David and Goliath on him here.
It's guerrilla warfare.
Mm.
You go against a major mechanized army. Always always attack from the rear, never from the front. Confuse and get the hell out of there. It's straight out of War of the Fleet.
Hit and run.
Yep.
And swarm tactics here is highly effective, especially taking advantage of being in the forest. That they could just duck and weave, and they had plenty of cover to be able to hide behind.
Smaller, agile machines that are transporting them around, much like a swarm of bees attacking a single individual.
Yep. Yeah, but they pack a little bit more than a sting here.
It's a powerful sting.
Mm-hmm. To which Amuro begins to quickly swat them away as he's starting to panic and realize just what happened.
Using the power of his chi to create wind.
Amuro steps out, discovers this, and the Xeon forces retreat to a distance to watch on as they merely have to wait the time out.
Enjoy the show.
Yep. The White Base and Amuro move into the clearing so that they may begin the removal of the Gambit cards. They comment and are slightly disparaged by the fact that they could not use remote devices due to the supply lines in the war effort. But I also think here that that's also arguably something they probably couldn't get due to Minovsky particles. That they couldn't detonate something like that with the Gundam.
But regardless of which side they're on, you got to admire the ingenuity that these guys employed with the limited equipment that they had. Even if it was a Federation, that would have been an impressive strategy. I like that.
They definitely are coming closer than anyone else before that have went up against the White Base and destroying the Gundam.
And none of them have names.
No.
Probably never will. They never will have a name.
One of them has a name.
One, but just one.
And his name was Gial.
What kind of name is that?
Xeon.
Seriously, who has that name? You
A
could have done
Xeon.
something
Gial
like
does.
Larry or Carl or just guy number one. Literally, Guy is a name. They could literally have used
Look at
Guy.
you don't even have a name tag. Just fall down it.
In a way, it kind of references how a lot of these soldiers on both sides are just nameless fodder. It's like they live, they work, they fight, they die, and no one knows who they are. They're basically the thankless soldiers going out there and fighting on the front lines, and no one knows who they are.
Yeah, they're the thankless henchmen who were sent to go fight Batman and get their legs and arms broken.
Yeah. Too bad they don't have a handbook.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, do it a bit faster. My henchmen are always screaming at me that they need teaching, training. Bunch of little ungrateful bastards.
Shoot them and replace them.
Not that easy. Wish it was.
Oh, it is really easy.
So Amuro and crew begin to examine the devices and discover that they are set with timers on them. Bright prepares.
Good.
Bright prepares to step up to be the one to remove them, but Amuro insists, as it's his suit, it's his responsibility.
Brave kid, go down with the ship.
The rest of the white base move back to watch from a distance, and Amuro begins to go to work removing the Gambit cards. I will remind people and anyone who might be coming in that they're a certain type of device that we can't exactly name for YouTube.
It's a rapid expansion of gases that can cause some serious damage if they come into contact with metal or anything of that nature.
Or as I've been calling them, Gambit cards in reference to the mutant of X-Men.
Or you could have just called them Joker gas.
Yeah, but it doesn't have quite as a satisfying of a finish. The right base crew watch from a distance as Amuro quickly begins to remove the devices for fear of time running out. And here we see one of the many Gambit cards.
They look like speakers. I bet they're going to get really loud when they activate.
The very loud bass.
Xeon speakers. They'll blow your ears out.
And
along with your organs, your soul. Your soul will literally be blown out of your body.
You act like being short of a set of vital organs is a bad thing for some people.
Well, I'm sorry, we're not all built like Klingons.
That'd be awesome if we were.
I mean, up until Gundam 00, there have never been aliens in Gundam.
Well, wouldn't the Xeon be considered aliens? I mean, isn't alien?
You know what I mean.
Oh,
I mean, everything born out of Earth or your specific planet of origin is alien to you.
On board the white base, Frau begins to panic and ask why doesn't everyone pitch in to attempt to remove the Gambit cards? And Bright says that they cannot risk anyone else with the clock ticking and no one having any idea how much time is left. Through bitter tears, Frau starts to call all the others cowards and ask why Amuro must be the one to do all the work, and calls them all cruel for it.
That girl's got it bad.
She cares so much, it hurts.
There's Mirai trying to comfort her.
Yep. And we have the last little bit where Frau calls Mirai cruel for not being as worked up and emotional as her. The Xeon soldiers watch from a distance in anticipation as they were set with 30 minutes to go and are getting down to the wire. Less than 8 minutes remain. And they watch on and have some respect and have a mote of respect for this Federation pilot who's risking everything. If he's too late, it's all the better for their side, they argue.
I remember them saying they were recruiting for our side. Kid's got guts.
A lot of guts.
Yep. If he would take too long, we may discover just how many guts.
Too bad we couldn't.
I want to point out we like Ammo around here.
Then the show would be very short, and the whole franchise would not exist.
Yeah.
Well,
Unless,
apparently,
of course, they
at one
tried
point, one of the original ideas was that this entire crew would have been killed off and would have been replaced with a whole nother crew midway through the series to help instill that nobody is safe in war.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to say that would be a bit of a stupid move. I mean, all the build up and connection was made with the characters just to get it all taken away. I mean,
you can replace Amuro with
that
Kai.
happens.
Put Kai in the Gundam. You'll be fine.
Yeah, well, we need to slap Kai around more to get him to work like Amuro.
Yeah.
As usually the formula. Smack him till it works. Nowadays, you call that abuse. Back in the show, it was actually called effective.
I know.
With the time running out.
Slapping is effective.
Time running out, Amuro managed to discover one last bomb planted underneath one of the arms and struggles to dig it out to get at it, while the others rush to assist. Hayato jumps into the Gundam to lift the arm up, and they manage to remove the last of the devices. Which, I think for as far as the scenes go, this I think is right where you really feel the tension. This is the most tense moment of the episode.
You have mere moments before they go off.
And you have Amuro just clawing at the dirt, digging, just to be able to get that extra inch closer. It does a good job of really building the tension here, I think.
Was I the only one rooting for the bomb?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Just asking.
Yes.
Okay.
With the last of them removed, Ryu, Amuro, and Kai rush out in a pair of buggies to get them to a distance and rush and try to make it back without to avoid the blast. Barely managing to escape it as their buggy is rocked by the explosion. Having failed their mission and their chance to get a ticket home, the Zeon soldiers watch on and share a laugh while wondering who the pilot was. Off with the Federation forces, relaxing after the high tense bout with the devices. A civilian truck drives up to the White Basin crew to get a better look at the soldiers. The pilot of the mobile suit, this being the Zeon soldiers from before, who are trying to get a close glance at the pilot. Amuro believed them to be civilians living a carefree life, expressing some envy of them, while Bright and Mirai comment that those were the Zeon soldiers.
What gave that away?
The episode ends with the episode ends on this shot with the crew about enjoying a relaxing moment.
The
Thus
foot of the
ends.
Gundam is quite wonky.
It's one of those many awkward shots in the super blocky arm of the Gundam, but that was our episode. Time be still.
You know, it's like the camaraderie that these Zeon soldiers have for the Federation, wanting to see the pilot. They had no malice towards the guy. They were actually impressed. The first time I'd ever seen that in this kind of situation or fiction, it was one of the earlier issues of the G.I. Joe series from Marvel back in the day. You had Ace and the Sky Striker fighting Wild Weasel and the Rattler. In the back of the Rattler, he had the Wild Weasel had the Baroness, and Ace had Scarlet in the back with him. And these two were going through the city, shooting at each other, trying to kill each other. Like, I believe it was the Sky Striker was following the Rattler. The Rattler sent missiles into a junkyard, which had stuff rain down from the sky, coming back down, hitting the Sky Striker, trying to knock it out of the sky. At the end of it, these two guys were flying at each other, just guns blazing, and just tearing each other up, but they both were able to fly. And you see a panel where they're both going click, 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 and there's no more ammo. They invert the planes, salute each other as they flew off. And both the women in their back were like, what the hell's wrong with you? Go back after them. And it's kind of like, it's that mutual respect between enemy soldiers that you would find like in the histories of the samurai. Like competing daimyos would basically, they would make sure that the enemy was treated fairly. Like there was one, I can't remember, the names escape me, but there was one that actually, he was landlocked. His land was landlocked, and one of the enemies, his samurai were like, we could starve them out. And he's like, no, we're not going to do that. He deserves to die with honor.
Yeah, exactly. I remember this story I was told as a kid about a World War II battle where the German army of unknown name declared a ceasefire for Christmas.
World War
that
One.
was the World War.
The Christmas ceasefire.
The Christmas truce lasted for a couple months until the military high command on both sides ordered the troops to begin fighting again. And if no one did, they were court-martialed and removed and stuff like that.
Exactly. And you just don't find anything like that a lot lately. It's respect among enemies.
It's a very heartwarming story, I think. It is one of my favorite war stories to come out of the World War One. But yeah, there's certainly a degree here of this.
It's also the last time that you'd see armies on both sides taking time to just stop fighting for the season.
Exactly.
Greetings, Nerdporial. Good to see you here.
I just talked with Nerdporial today, and I'm looking forward to having him on soon. He's been catching up. He wants to be on it. I want to have him on.
Cool.
So
bring the guy
can't wait
up.
to have you on soon, Nerdporial.
And I think with these kind of stories, I really like the fact that it humanizes both sides, because the history books will teach you a child's view of the world, that these guys are bad because they didn't like us. They ate puppies for fun. And we're good because we're us. This is the way a child looks at the world. And these kind of stories here I like, is it humanizes both sides. And at times it makes you think, like, are these people truly my enemy? Because they are people. They're people with dreams. They're people with ideas, like these guys. They just want to get a ticket home, which I don't blame them.
Exactly. Plus, there is a saying, history is written by the victors, not the loser. For example, anyone that wins is the good guy at that.
Even Adolf Hitler even said, has anyone ever asked the victors if they told the truth?
There it is. The world's not as, what can I say, white and gray as white and black, as people say. There's a side to each side.
Shades of gray.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the upcoming episodes, the next episode, in fact, is a quote unquote like missing episode, and we haven't quite talked yet about whether they're covered or not. But I think that for the sake of completion of the series, it does deserve to be covered. So I think that will be the next episode to watch. Which
Tomino had ordered that this episode never be converted into an English dub.
For what reason?
Don't know. Just ordered it to never be released in the Americas or Western world.
Yep. And Brightest Day agrees. Cover it. Cover all the things. Yep. So that episode does not have an English dub, meaning that we'll all have to go through it with the subtitles, and which not a problem for me. And I don't know about the rest of you, but it's one I will be.
Duan's Island.
Tomino.
Yeah.
Will they survive? Next episode.
So I guess we should go ahead and put that rating on this one then, and we can. We started from the bottom up last time. We'll start from the top down this time, I think. I like a lot that was going on here. There was we had a lot more the Xeon-centric stuff, which I always appreciate. I do like the strategy and tactics they used. I think that was fairly ingenious, and it had some good tension to it. That although I knew ultimately what would happen, you still in the moment it's believable. You still feel that there's just that thought that what if he doesn't make it? You could feel the tension build in this one, and I think it was a good episode for. I think it was a good episode, and I'm going to give it a 7 overall. Maybe an 8. Maybe we'll put it about a 7.5. I can't quite decide. It's like choose picking a favorite child.
Oh, that's easy. You choose the one that's not the redheaded stepchild.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they turn into Matilda, and you can't trust them.
So
you're sounding
Chris,
a lot like Hollywood there. Getting rid of the
Chris,
gingers.
what would you give this episode?
I think I'll go with an 8. I liked the story. I liked the characters, even though you didn't know who the Xeon soldiers were. They did bring on a more human aspects instead of just every Xeon soldier being a mustache twirling ha character like they have depicted the majority of Xeon's leadership. There isn't any ulterior motives besides them just wanting to go home. They want to get off that backwater Earth and go home to their clean colony. I liked the relation. I liked how we're seeing the relationship between Amuro and Frau Bo is changing. She's realizing that she's not as important to Amuro as she thought she was, along with is that she cares for him deeply, even though he doesn't reciprocate. It's a good episode. So I'll say it's an 8 for me.
Okay, yeah, that's good to hear. I think we're probably largely all going to be in agreement on this one. But we need to go ahead and go around the panel here. Agent?
I'm going to give this one an 8.5. I like the guerrilla tactics and the fact that it humanized the Xeon soldiers. And I like the way the Xeon soldiers improvised with what little they had. And it was a good plan. Because like Chris had pointed out, I mean, that shield's taken a lot of damage. And it took just one of these things to blow that in half. Imagine what the other ones would have done. And as Chris said also about Frau, it's like it's almost because, like, when you get older and you realize how these things work out in life, it's almost heartbreaking in a way, because Frau is going to be the one that got away, and Amuro's too young to understand that now. You can't blame him; he's just a kid. But
Again, yes, you can.
he's chasing something he can never have, and he's got something right there which really cares for him, and he doesn't give a shit. And it's like, yeah, you're going to pay for that one. But yeah, it was the character development, and again, I am really impressed with Amuro, with his bravery and his just basically, this kid won't stop. I really respect that in him.
All right. And then finally, Fenrir, what did you think of the episode overall?
I give it an 8.5. Mainly because I enjoyed the plot and story. I enjoyed how they depicted the soldiers, not just as a bunch of evil, idiotic grunts, but they showed intelligence, good tactics, particularly in guerrilla style. And yeah, those would be henchmen I would be proud to possess if I could ever find some. But yes, this was a good episode. I only hated the fact that they used the freaking magician to put up the troops' spirits. That's not how the world works. No one wants to see magic. Maybe a comedy show, but you got to get some cheerleaders there.
I think this episode deserves a bigger celebration speech.
Wow. Exactly that. But yes,
Hey,
I enjoy.
when you're a soldier,
I really enjoy when this show treats both sides as human beings with both good and evil elements, and not just one-sided battle like a lot of modern shows do. This is good writing. This is how it should be done.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this episode. I think this is another good episode for the series, and I'm glad to see that it was included. If anyone in the chat wants to chime in, give their reviews, I'd happily read them out. But let me see. In the meantime, I think we should probably start wrapping up for the night.
Yes.
Yep. Fenrir, what have you got coming up? Any streams coming up? Any videos?
I, in the moment, got nothing. I'm trying to work on a video explaining the stupidity and destruction of supervillains. Look, I enjoy a good story when you try to make villain complex, but it's just getting too freaking stupid, and I'm blaming Alan Moore for that. I miss the days when a villain was just a guy who wanted to destroy something and just rob a bank. When they keep it small, but now it's just too freaking. They're turning villains into heroes with all this anti-hero crap with our liquid and
what if the hero is the villain all along?
That has to stop. That has to stop right now. The hero needs to be heroic, and the villain needs to be villainous.
Going to Alan Moore. It's like Watchmen was that highly acclaimed book. It was this peak, but it was like a Faustian bargain.
It was
exactly, and I'm not going to blame it all on Moore, but he started it. Not his fault, but he started it.
I would suggest, Fenrir, go to the 80s and 90s X-Men. You will find excellent villains in that.
Yes, I know.
What Watchmen brought to the table should have been a one and done or a rare thing, but it's now basically become the norm. So,
I mean, even Moore admits it. He hates this. He hates the hell he opened. That's why he hates when it's adapted, like the Watchmen TV show and Doomsday Clock. He hates it because he started this. I mean, the guy must feel a lot of pain. He ruined it.
And it's very annoying when you have no heroes. When there's no heroes, how does anyone strive to be better? How does anyone try to improve themselves if everyone is a slime ball?
That's the point with these guys. They just can't. Not with these writers.
Nerd Proils down in the chat. So,
You know what?
sharing his
Thinking
love of
about
the theme
this-
song.
Thinking about this, Decibel, I might call you in on this. We might do a stream with this one. You know about Watchmen, right?
Yes.
Good.
I
then.
didn't.
But-
I didn't watch the TV show because I heard enough about it to avoid it like a rash.
Good. They did Dr. Manhattan very dirty on that one. Okay, the next week by around Friday time, I might call you up for one.
Okay, I should be
Ooh, that'll
available.
be fun. So
I need
we got
to-
that coming up for the two of you. Should we ask you, Agent, what you have coming up?
I am finally gotten off my rear, and I'm getting the introduction to the Henchman's Handbook finished. I will have that out by the end of the week. And I am on I'm on a secondary venture. I have been inspired by a very beautiful muse to get my art going again. And so I am creating an art studio in my home so I can start doing my own illustrations like I used to do.
Fun. Let me set something for myself. Chris, what do you have coming up this week?
Normally, nothing much. Thursdays on 540 Studios, Jason and I will normally do a stream around 6-7 o'clock Central Time for to talk about geek stuff. Sundays we talk about Gundam, or not Gundam, Star Wars, the EU. And Monday, he normally has a stream with his other co-host. And sometimes, on occasion, I will pop in to say hello. Hey, Canadian Spider-Man. And
Speaking of popping in to say hello, we have the Canadian Spider-Man. But a lot of stuff coming up.
If I may ask, Chris, what are you covering? What Star Wars are you covering this Sunday?
If everything goes off without a hitch, we'll be covering Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, Volume 2, Prisoner of Bogan.
Oh, gotta love the Bogan.
Bogan. It's a moon.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I always pronounce it Bogan, but Bogan. Okay. Thank you for correcting me.
It's kind of like discovering how certain words in, say, Dune are supposed to be pronounced.
Oh, God, please don't bring that up. I mispronounced so much for so many years.
I shared with the agent. Apparently, there was a recording that was discovered at some point of Frank Herbert talking about his novels and how you were supposed to pronounce certain names. Like,
God, I hate it when that happens. When you've been saying
I think for the longest time
it
was just calling them the Harkonnens, and it was supposed to be the Harkonnens.
The Harkonnens. That's the way that I've heard it referred to. Harkonnens.
It was like spent years in high school with my buddy reading Dune, discussing Dune, and pronouncing it wrong the entire time.
As for myself, tonight we're getting a little toxic. I'm going to be over at Nick Weiser's channel, which everyone is linked down in the description, along with all these fine gentlemen here on the chat, here in the panel, and with some of you great folks in the chat yourselves can be found down below. Tonight we're talking Cobra.
You're getting Nick by Nick.
Man,
you're going to lock up your fridge.
Man, I wish I was up on that one. Cobra's one of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movies.
Oh, it's definitely an I think it's a really underrated film. That it's one that not enough people talk about.
I mean, hell, you guys remember Demolition Man? I gotta say that was pretty much one of the best, and it predicted the future very accurately. I mean, look at some of the things from the future there, and look at now.
As good as
accuracy.
As good as Cobra is, I don't think it's I don't think it's the best 80s film. I think that Commando is the best 80s film.
Hey, I didn't say best 80s film. I said best Sylvester Stallone film.
Or I should say that it is the definitive 80s film.
I do believe
But-
Rageaholic said that he started wearing aviator glasses because of the movie Cobra.
Oh, really?
I believe that was the
man,
one
that-
he was talking about.
Man, that would have made sense. When I was a little kid, I used to steal my grandpa's aviator glasses all the time and put them to school and shit. Yeah, those were some good times.
Another great pick there, Nerdporial.
Oh yeah, that's classic.
Oh, the Axel Foley movie. I've forgotten the name for years. Forgotten the name.
Also, on Wednesdays now, I'm over on the Pop Culture Archivist playing games, and we're playing through Regional Final Fantasy. And I want to share with you guys a little sneak peek of something I've been working on for that. All right, I gotta stop it there. I'm just gonna keep listening to it again and again.
It's good.
Is that a bunch of Final Fantasy stuff? Because that looked awesome.
Yes, that is a bunch of cinematic stuff from Final Fantasy games, because I am currently playing through the original Final Fantasy
I gotta
over
say,
there.
Sephiroth stole it all by himself, as always.
Yep, I agree. Great man.
Yeah.
I might have shown you guys just a little too much of it, but I'm getting close. And I'm having so much fun like playing with the footage there. It's like every time I sit down to play with it and start adding footage in, I start just completely rearranging things. It is a fun hobby, is what it feels like at this point. But yeah, that's gonna be a little intro I'm working on for the Pop Culture Archivist gaming streams.
Neat.
Looks cool. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think this is the perfect time to wrap things up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, Hail Xeon. They did nothing wrong.
Hail Xeon. Absolutely.
Long live.